Okay, so tonight I am going to be doing a setup and initial impressions, first impressions of Harsh Shadows. This is a game that I backed on Kickstarter, and they've just released the print and play, which I've downloaded and built before my physical copy arrives. And the print and play is available on pnparcade.com if you want to go and check it out yourself. So the aim of this game is to catch a spy. So you are an agent. You can either be Agent Torres or Agent Davis, and you have to chase down and catch a spy. And you catch a spy by discovering clues around town, collecting evidence, and then making an accusation. So what I'll do is I'll do the setup, and I'll talk through you different bits of the game, and I'll probably do a playthrough after this. So if you want to jump straight to the playthrough, jump to the next video. Otherwise, I will set up and talk you through the bits and pieces as we go. So I've already put some things down. I'll put down the 3 case files. So during the game, you discover clues to help you accuse the spy you're chasing. And there's 3 pieces of evidence, 1 red herring, which you don't want to be holding at the end of the game, and 4 false leads. And so we have a set of confiscated items, which we'll do first. So these are different aspects of items that you're going to try and discover. And we shuffle those, and they get spread across our case files. And so as we move through the game, we discover pieces of evidence, and we can discover what the red herring is and the false leads. And that then gives us some different options. But I will describe those as we go through it. I'm not going to read out the rules. So our evidence we take 3 at random. So I'll take those 3. We have 1 red herring, which is that one, and we are left with 4 false leads. And they can go up there. Now I'm going to build the board. The board is a 3x3 9 location, and every location has some special ability that you flip the card when you're finished with it, except for the center one, which gets flipped when you start. So we'll give those a bit of a shuffle, and then we'll lay them out in a 3x3, but with a bit of space next to them, because we end up we discover clues at the locations. So you need a little bit of space on the right, and I'll just organize that so it's a bit easier. Then we will build our discovery deck. So our discovery deck has items that we might want to find, clue tokens that we can use to cash in to discover things in our case files. And so you'll see that the case file's got numbers on them. So evidence costs you 2 clues, red herring costs you 3 clues unless you've revealed some evidence, in which case it's only 1, and false leads cost you 1. And so we collect up these clues that we can allow us to work out how we could accuse our spy who's on the map somewhere on the board, and then we have to collect the different elements of evidence as well. Also, we might run across bombs, in which case we have to discard a card. If we can't discard a card, it's game over. We also have a diffusing kit, which we can use once. So we get kind of 1 get out of jail free. We'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, initially we have to put a discovery card at every location, which includes the bomb. So we shuffle our discovery cards. And we take 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Add the bomb and shuffle them in. I've sleeved all my cards. So I printed them, cut them out, cornered them, glued them on the magic cards, and then clear sleeved them. And then each location gets a discovery card. And we'll just, so you need quite a bit of space. But the game flows really well once you've got it laid out. Okay, and I have to flip the middle one. I forgot to do that. So the middle one always gets flipped, so you don't get to do it. Every other one has a ability that you can use once. You usually flip it. Our agent, I'm going to play with Agent Torres. Starts at the bottom right, it's the hotel, and the spy starts at the top left, into the cafe. We have discovery deck. We can now reshuffle, and that goes over here. So we need space for a discard pile as well. So every time the spy moves, they will add another card, discovery card, to their location, up to a maximum of 2. So there's always new clues that they're leaving as they move around town. And how do they move, you might ask? We have movement cards. So we draw a random movement card once per turn, and we go with the main arrow, and if we can't use the main arrow, we use the little arrow, and if we can't use those, then you flip it, and then you try the big arrow and then the little arrow. So you've basically got 4 choices for moving the spy. And when we shuffle this, we're supposed to rotate every other card 180, just to give it a bit more randomness. And if you ever run out of movement cards, you just reshuffle it. There's no limit to that. But we do have a limit on our discovery. So as I noted before, as the spy moves around, which we'll talk about in a minute, you put new discovery cards underneath. When we run out, it's almost like a timing mechanism. It's the spy is then on the run. And then every time the spy moves to a location and there's no discovery card, as in there's none to place and they've all been taken, you count down a timer. And after 4 of those, game over, so you lose. The other way you can lose is, as you pick up clues, you put them down in front of you. If you hit a bomb, you can either defuse it with your kit once, or you have to throw out a card. And if you end up not being able to throw out a card, then you can't defuse the bomb, and that's game over as well. At any time you can make an accusation, but the accusation you'll only win the game if you have the 3 items that are evidence in your hand, and you don't have the red herring. And so the game is a process of moving around the board as the agent, collecting pieces of clues that you can use to find out what the evidence is, keeping pieces of evidence. The spy moves around dropping new clues. And there's one other thing, it's a tracking device. So at any location we move to that doesn't have the anti-bugging symbol, we can drop the tracking bug. If the spy ever moves onto that location, they automatically get bugged. That follows them around for the game. While they're bugged, you can use it twice to look at the top card of the movement to try and predict where they're going to be. And you have to be on their square, on their location, to accuse them, to try and win the game. And also, if they land on your location, you have to throw out a card. And that could get very messy, because if you throw out a card and you've only got evidence that you need, again, game over. And so there's lots of kind of subtleties of things when you're playing. Every turn you get to move either left to right or diagonally, so you can pretty much move anywhere with the one space. And when you move to a new space, you take that card and you add it to your collection. Have a look through when I do the playthrough in the next video. Overall, it's a beautiful game. All the art's fantastic. It plays really smoothly. I'm really liking the choices. I think that when I first played it, I tried to discover everything and I pretty much ran out of time. And so it's got the kind of aspect of like Clue, where you might have to make an educated guess, or if you're running out of time, it's better to try and potentially win rather than being certain, but then you might lose. And so there really is a push your luck type mechanism in there, and lots of randomization. And for a card game, it feels like a really kind of complex board game, but it's simple to play. Anyway, I've very much enjoyed my first game. I'm about to play my second game, and if you want to watch that, flick on to the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and like. And this is Harsh Shadows.